Paranormal Evidence.
Tonight, see what truly exists inside the world of the paranormal. Inside. Join the discussion and review some of the best paranormal evidence captures from a wide variety of experienced and up-and-coming investigators. See and hear what they capture, where they captured it, and how they captured it. Right now on Entity Voices
Paranormal Evidence.
Good evening and welcome to Entity Voices Paranormal Evidence. I'm Tony Rathman.
I am Sherry Rathman.
I'm Chris Allgood.
I am Audra Keeler.
I'm Lourdes Gonzalez.
And I am not going to make a joke this time. Ha!
I think you still did.
I did. I'm an idiot. I get it. Ron Yak says it right there.
Yakman.
The Yakman.
Yakman.
Yes.
Yeah. My fan club, one lady. Yes.
Tonight is a continuation of last week's show. We are bringing back Don Phillips and his wife, Patty, who, if you missed last week's show, I would highly recommend going back to rewatch it. If you haven't seen it, you can still follow along tonight without any problem. But the whole sort of background history of Don, what he does, how this came to be, all kind of unfolded in episode 1.
Yes.
But we are going to go a little further into what Don has been able to accomplish tonight. We're going to take a look at some other things he is doing and involved with. So I think the best thing to do is first to bring Don back and let him say hello. And then we'll start to talk about where we left off and what's left to show with his healing abilities. And then we'll dive into some of his investigations he's been working on and other things. And, you know, if you're in the audience and you have questions, feel free to write those. Chris, hopefully you can man the chat room. And if, you know, a good question pops up, don't feel hesitant to say, hey, here's a good question. We want to see if we can get an answer to, or what Don has to say about it. And hopefully we can touch base, have a little discussion on some of the things that Don's going to share with us tonight. So,
yes, and we have a lot of video clips to show you guys.
We do.
Yep.
We do. We have some good stuff. So
I am on it.
Awesome. All right. Well, let's say hello again to Mr. Phillips. Here he comes.
Good evening, people.
Hello there.
He came back twice. He came back 2 times in a row. Most people won't give us that opportunity twice.
Well, you know what? I have no fear. What can I say? I will.
You showed up this week.
Yeah, I will say, unfortunately, Patty cannot be here at this moment in time because just 5 minutes prior to us coming into here, she was having a little drop of wine, and we had a wasp in the glass or something, and it bit her on the end of the tongue. So, unfortunately, my wife can't speak, and there's a lot of guys that would be quite happy about that. But I'm not one of them. But I'm just saying that. So Patty sends her apologies. But you know what? It's great to see you guys again.
It's great to see you again too. Is she doing okay? She doesn't have any allergies or anything to bees, does she?
Yeah, she's allergic to bees, but I did just call out and says, "Hey, sweetheart, you okay?" She says, "I'm in a bit of pain, but I'm fine." So.
Oh.
No.
Hope she feels better soon.
I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
Just literally 5 minutes as we were just coming in the doorway, there was a big kerfuffle and what's going on, you know? So anyway, I'm here. She's not, unfortunately, but like I said, it's great to be back, guys.
Yep.
Awesome.
Yeah.
If you need to take a break to check on her, just let us know. We'll give you a few minutes to go make sure her tongue's not swollen up or, you know, anything severe like that.
Yeah.
And, you know, we can always talk amongst ourselves about what we were watching. So
Okay.
no worries there.
Okay, I appreciate it.
Yeah, feel free to do that.
Yeah.
Okay, so for our audience, maybe if you didn't see last week's show, Don covered just some amazing abilities. And I wouldn't even say paranormal. I mean, these are verging on supernatural. And we watched clip after clip of Don healing everything from mice to birds to dogs with 100% success.
It's
And
beyond paranormal.
right, it's supernatural, no doubt about it. I'm hearing a little chirping feedback. Anyone else hearing that?
Yeah.
Not sure where that's coming from.
It's sounding
Bird.
okay either.
Okay. Well, anyway, so Don, I guess my first question is, where would you like to start off with? I know that we did not cover the one healing that you performed on a human who was Bob. So I don't know. You tell me where you want to start.
Well, we left before we did the mouse, we did the crow. We showed them clips, didn't we? And Hank's dog, that Lucy that had a stroke, we did that one. I guess the Cheyenne.
Okay.
Cheyenne is the dog of Jennifer, who's actually Bob's wife, who we'll be coming to shortly, who requested I try and do something with his heart, which is actually a big deal for me. So that's the first time I touched a human. Very quick background. Cheyenne's a very old dog. I can't remember what it is that she said. The vet said she got wrong with it, but she'd been walking for quite a while with just 3 legs and one of the rear legs right up in the air. And he said that she'd never walk again on 4 legs, and she talked to an operation. Jennifer, knowing what I'd done before on other things, said, "Can you just come and take a look?" And I said the same as I always say to everybody: I will come. Me and Becky will do what we do, but I'm never going to ever guarantee it's going to work 100%, but we can try. That's all I ever say. Fortunately, to this day, everything we tried has worked 100%. This was amazing. Cheyenne literally took her hind leg in my hand. It was for about 45 seconds. She flinched. She just went walking off down the path afterwards for the first time on 4 legs. Bob came home from work and he was absolutely flabbergasted. So that's how that came about. And again, in the previous show, you know, I'm very, very fortunate to be who I am and what I do. I do get a lot out of it, obviously.
Wow. Well, let's take a look at that clip. Here it is.
After hearing about my success with animals, that Jennifer asked me next time I was in the United States if I could try to help her dog. The veterinary surgeon had told Jennifer and Bob their dog would never walk on 4 legs again. He had sustained a very serious injury and was too old for an operation. I agreed to try and help.
Do you remember me? Do you remember me? Eagle girl. So this is Cheyenne. And,
after a long time of walking with just 3 legs, Cheyenne was now able to walk on all 4s.
So this is Cheyenne. When we came out to see Cheyenne before, problem was she could only walk on 3 legs and showed in that one right up here.
She had a torn cruciate ligament.
She had a what?
Torn cruciate ligament.
Oh, she had a torn ligament.
And she's too old to do surgery.
That makes it even more significant then, wasn't it?
Because now she's walking with it.
Now she's
when it's torn, they won't put any pressure on it. And now she's putting pressure on it. Can you bring her back?
I'm trying.
So just get this right. It's still torn, but now she's putting pressure on it.
Yeah, so she's walking with it, so she's learning to live with the tear.
But ordinarily, she wouldn't be walking on it with that tear. She would be like this all the time.
Yeah.
Wow, that's quite...
Like she was when you got her.
When I first
She was bouncing on 3 legs. Call her lucky.
That was an amazing difference when I was somewhere and I came back. Because before she was holding
it. It was right up here.
Yeah.
Wait, you know, it was that instant, wasn't it?
And when you did it, she was putting pressure on your hand.
Wow. That's really cool.
It's pretty incredible when a veterinary surgeon tells the dog owner that their dog's never going to walk on 4 legs again. And you're there for 45 seconds and it goes walking off down the footpath afterwards. Yeah.
Wow.
That's amazing.
I get a lot out of it.
And
Yeah.
Tony, on how many shows have we spoken about the altruistic side of what we do with ultimately the best thing you can do is help people, right? We know there's evidence of this stuff. We believe that this stuff is legit. Helping people is a huge thing. I mean, that's helping a family in a most profound way that is completely unforgettable, undeniable, and applause worthy. That's just amazing.
It is amazing. It's beautiful.
Yeah, I completely agree. And 45 seconds. I mean, 45 seconds. Think about that. So, Don, let me ask you this: has the dog been back to the vet since this occurred, and what on earth did the vet say?
Basically, there's no answers to what happened, and she's fine to this day. That's it. What I was going to say as well, I mean, do you know what? Well, there will always be skeptics in this world, and I've always said that skepticism is a healthy part of any investigation. But the skeptics and things. But that aside, people can say when you're dealing with a person, it's suggestion, it's this, it's that. You know, you cannot tell a dog, a bird, a mouse, or anything that it's going to feel better in about 45 seconds. You cannot suggest to an animal it's going to feel better.
That's awesome.
That's a great point.
Very much.
So, I mean, I guess that also, you're right. I mean, the animal doesn't know what's happening, is not aware of what you're doing, but to be able to only walk on 3 and then instantly after start walking on 4 clearly shows that, you know, whatever method that is and what you're doing is working. And that's just incredible. So we've seen you heal a mouse. We've seen you heal a crow.
Yes.
We've seen you heal 2 dogs now. And then you started to talk about the woman who was in the video and her husband. Do you want to start to explain that?
Jennifer and Bob are a couple of life's wonderful people, and I have a lot of empathy for them and compassion, as you do with people you care about, and that is also part of it. Okay. So after that, in between there, I don't know if you got a clip there with Tim's dog, because after Jennifer said about Bob having articulate something, fibrillation, and the hospital could not. This is a hospital. We're talking about a hospital that has got drugs and all the modern technologies. They couldn't get his heartbeat below, I think it was 150 beats. That puts him at a great risk of having a heart attack at any time, even if he's just sitting still. So Jennifer said, Don, this is in light of what had happened to Cheyenne. Can you come in, see if you can do something with Bob and help Bob? I did have to think about this for pretty much a day, because this is a person, this is a person's heart. I still don't understand, and I'm being truthful, how I do what I do. I know the source of it, and I know my union with Becky and kind of how that works, but I don't know when I'm doing this, what am I actually altering on a physical level within a body, or is can it not always be good, but if it's the wrong kind of thing in the wrong place, can it cause a problem? Like if someone got a bad heart and you start doing this, is that necessarily a good thing or a bad thing? So this is a person's heart, you know what I'm saying? If I was doing this and he had a heart attack, how am I going to be for the rest of my life? Thinking I caused that, whether I did or whether I didn't.
Right.
So I asked Becky, I said, Becky, I'm not nervous. For some reason, I've never done nerves on anything. I'm not a nervous type of person. But I did get concerned, and I said, Becky, should we do this? Can we help Bob? And she said, in her typical thing, we've got to do it. Okay, when she said that, I trust Becky 100% with everything. I mean, I live my life by Becky. I went along and I said, okay, let's do it. So I said to Bob, I don't know if it's going to work. I don't know if it's not. I don't know exactly how everything works myself, but you know, Bob, yeah, I'm going to try. That's the short background story of it. And this was, oh no, sorry. Then I had to do a dog straight afterwards, another dog, which I was really dubious about because I'd never done one thing after another. And do you know what, Tony, guys? It's almost, it's hard to quantify, but it's like a drug. When I'm getting this energy, it is just an amazing feeling. But at the same time, when I'm expelling it, it takes a lot of me out of me, you know. For a couple of 3 minutes after, I feel pretty, yet alone to have to go and do another dog after a person. But anyway, that's what happened. I think, Tony, the next clip was Bob. Yeah.
All right. let's take a look at this one. Here it comes.
Previously, my work had centered around animals. Jennifer asked, could I try and help Bob? I had mixed feelings about this because this, after all, was a human being. And not just a human being, but a human being with a heart condition. This was truly uncharted waters. And as far as I was concerned, not without risk.
Okay, Bob. Come here today, try and help you.
Right.
Doing what I do, which won't go into right at the moment. So, what's the actual condition is it that we're aiming to do something about or help here?
It's called atrial fibrillation.
Atrial fibrillation, okay, and that is?
Basically, as my understanding is, the top chamber of my heart basically is kind of quivering.
Right.
And it doesn't pump the blood properly.
If it'll work, never try this on a person. So you are the test subject.
Pulse is high.
125 means I'm doing damage.
Your pulse is 152. He's on medication for the blood pressure, but the pulse is really high. And that means it's beating really fast. So what it is the electrodes in the top of his heart, the left and right side did damage.
But I just feel tired.
Fatigue.
Yeah, fatigue just because the heart's not working properly.
Okay, so the top number is his heart rate. 134, 135. The bottom this number here is his blood pressure, 161 over 112. So he's just went up from 130 to 150.
It was time to begin. At this stage, we had no idea of the effect that this would have on Bob, and if it would actually result in anything at all. This was the first time I'd ever tried this on a human being.
I'm going to check his pulse.
Okay. So Bob, how are you feeling right now?
Better than I was before we started.
You're beating normal.
It was now time to turn to Becky to see what she thought. I switched on the recorder. The immediate response from Becky was a very encouraging, "We've done it." But we needed to put this to the test.
68 is his pulse right now.
What's your pulse?
68.
68.
That's good.
That is like friggin'. Oh my god, I can't believe that's 68.
That's incredible. From 154 was the highest that I saw it registered to 68. No, that's crazy.
I could feel the energy leaving me, and literally when I'm doing this, I feel the energy leaving me. I feel it through my body. I project it through my hands. That's what I do. So I had no doubt there'd be effect in something as well actually doing it. But again, despite what Becky said, obviously, come on, you know what, guys? This is a human with a heart condition. Some people say, well, you know, there's ethical things that come into play, but then again, yes, under normal circumstances, but not everybody has the foresight that I have and with Becky. So that's the only reason I did that. Okay.
Wow.
That's crazy. That's amazing. So how long does it take you to recover when, like, for instance, with him, did it take you a day or a week? How long does it take you to recover from that?
Good question.
About 5-10 minutes.
Oh, okay.
That's for me to feel normal again, not pumped. Because when this energy, I mean, you saw my arms, okay? I look like I've just been working out in the gym for 20 minutes, okay? What happens is my whole body, it's crazy. And it's the same thing when I was, the new listeners or people that haven't seen the clip from the church, I don't think we've played yet, have we, Tony? When I was doing that, the same thing, my whole body, it literally pumps everything, you know. The power, like I've explained in the previous thing that we did, the power is absolutely immense. So of course that's going to have some kind of effect on your body. But by the same token, I also feel that's doing me good as well. This is an energy which is obviously conducive to healing. If I'm absorbing and it's flowing through my body, then obviously if I've got anything going on, colds, flus or whatever, I've never been ill for many years.
Wow.
And I actually do attribute that to this that I do. I think it's beneficial to me as well as the person.
I have a question for you, Don. Have you ever used your own ability on yourself?
That's it.
I don't remember trying. It's a possibility. I may have done at some point and forgotten, but nothing springs to mind.
Okay.
The other thing that, mankind's got to understand, the paranormal is not woo-woo. We can learn so much from Becky. I mean, I come in a fortunate position. Mine and Becky's relationship, what we do is totally unprecedented. I get that. But my ex-partner was feeling a lot of pain one time in the workshop. In my old workshop, this is years and years ago. I said to Becky, what's wrong with Rachel? She said, she's got a kidney infection. I said, you can see that? She went, yes. Patty, several months ago, she was very ill in bed. And I said, what's wrong with Patty? And she said it was a lung infection in lungs, both lungs, or left lung or right lung. Anyway, whichever one it was, she got it spot on. So Patty went to the hospital afterwards and they actually confirmed that's exactly what it was. It was a chronic lung infection. So what I'm saying is, I guess in order for Becky to be able to help me to heal people, first of all, we need to identify what the problem is and target an area. I know people say it's the dog's leg or it's Bob's heart, and all I can do is this. But I guess Becky knows what's going to happen before it happens, and I also believe that she actually knows the result of that.
Wow.
That's a very powerful thing. That's a very powerful thing.
I saw a question from the audience that Chris popped up. They asked if you can draw energy from objects.
I don't know. I've never tried. That's the truth. I mean, why? Without being disrespectful or sounding disrespectful in any way, why would I? Why would I try? Because I've got all the energy I could possibly need for anything. So it wouldn't even cross my mind to try and draw energy from objects.
Okay, that's a fair answer.
I guess if you were going to draw energy from anything, objects aside, the one thing that it would probably be, if I was actually to go out and intentionally try and do that, would be organ. Because I mean that the rock. I don't know if you know about organ, the rock. Yeah. There's an experiment I want you to try with that when I can find out where to source it from. But it would be something like that. But general objects, it's never crossed my mind, to be honest.
Okay.
This relates to a lot of what we do in the paranormal field. We use EMF detectors. We use all kinds of electrical stuff. And a lot of people believe that the metaphysical side of it is pure energy. So when we leave our meat suits or our meat pajamas, as Ron refers to it, we are pure energy and we move on as pure energy. And it sounds to me, everybody that didn't tune in last week, so what Don does is he uses this energy to expel and help heal. And so your electrons, your electrodes inside your body are constantly going like this, right? Because of all the EMF that we're surrounded by every day. Our computers that we're looking at right now, our cell phones, everything else, our cars, everything that's computerized is making our energies go like this. Well, in a natural rhythm, our energies used to go like this. And they wonder how cowboys in the 1800s were so tough and could do what they could, because they weren't surrounded by the EMF we are today. So their electrons were going like this. We are just pure energy. And listening to Don for the last 2 weeks, it almost sounds like that pure energy that Becky provides to you, also with your own pure energy, you can actually manipulate the energy in other living objects, such as the bird, the mouse, the dogs, and the gentleman with the heart rate.
There's obviously something taken
Right.
on a molecular level. Obviously,
Right.
There's got to be. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's exactly the direction I'm headed towards. Is you're changing that molecular level that they're off, that's causing their health conditions, and you're helping with Becky. You're using the energy that you're expelling into them to get their molecular energy moving in the right direction like it's supposed to, which molecular energy is a lot more powerful than our physical bodies and what we understand of our physical bodies.
Absolutely. I mean, obviously, it is clearly understood that I can affect things on a neurological level. If a dog has a stroke, he's had a stroke. You don't get over that generally within 5 minutes. But in the last thing that we did with Hank's dog, I'm learning all the time as I go along and I amaze myself as to what's possible. We've never attempted something and not succeeded yet. You know, the mouse thing blew me away. I mean, can you imagine being me? Intuitively, you get this mouse and you feel this big surge of energy. I mean, seriously, guys, Becky tells you can hear. You think, well, what the hell do I do with that? What's that even mean? How do I do that? I don't know how you do that. You know, how, what? And then this energy seems to be there when it needs to be there. You get this mouse in your hand. This is, you know, the first time you feel this energy. Now, I know watching the clip, it's like, wow, there's the mouse afterwards. That's amazing. But can you imagine being me for the first time? You felt that and seen that. You open your hands. And it's not just feeling okay. This guy, this little guy, it's not just a mouse that's looking okay. It was gleaming. It was absolutely shiny. The condition. So that blew me away, to be honest. And we did 2 or 3 mice, you know, apart from the one with the head missing, as I explained in the last one. I'm not going to go there. There was one show I was doing. I'll just say very quickly, it's quite fitted. Yeah, and Don brought this mouse back from the dead. I'm like, whoa, just stop there. Let's not start telling people I'm bringing things back from the dead, because that's that's a whole new level which I don't even go into. But yeah, it's an extraordinary thing. I'm still learning. I'm still pushing the boundaries, and I'm willing to just try anything, because as Steve Merris said, Tony, you know, you spoke to Steve.
Yeah.
We have not found any limitations whatsoever. Yet.
Correct. And Steve stated that absolutely factly. He's like, we have not. He said, we were so amazed at what all the tests that they put you through. And he said, we were absolutely just blown away that you passed every single one of the tests. But he said, the thing I'm most amazed with is the fact that we have not reached a limit to what Don's capabilities are.
I'm a great believer. You know, I'm not. There's bound to be other people in the world that can do certain things, but you know, everybody's making claims. And sometimes people go for testing and say, "Oh yeah, well it don't work like that. It's not worked today because of." You know, I'm skeptical of other people's claims, but I apply that same skepticism to myself because that's fair. And I think if someone claims to be able to do something, they should be able to prove it. Period. No ifs, no buts, no maybes. You can do it or you can't do it.
Well, with big claims has to come big evidence. I mean,
Yeah, and you know what? I'm totally down with. Sometimes it may not be as effective as other times because everything is dependent on the conditions and the environment. That does have a lot to do with it. Even when I'm talking to Becky, I'll be honest with you, I came here last night to speak to Becky. For the first time since I've been here, I could hardly hear her. It turned cold, it was cloudy and everything. So the environmentals and the variables have a great deal to do with, if that's with communications, which is to do with energy, then the same thing would apply to, I would think, to anything. You know, it's to do with the willingness of the spirit, the capability of the person the spirit's communicating with, and the variables of the environment at the time.
Right. You know, the other thing, and I've heard you say this to me time after time after time, so I'm curious based off of what I'm about to say, but you always say it won't work if you have any doubt in your mind, it won't work. How long did it take you, like the very first mouse or the first interaction you had where you saw results, how long did it take you to be able to say, oh my God, that worked, I can do this? And when did you stop doubting yourself?
I never stopped doubting myself, Tony, because I never doubted myself in the first place. And the reason for that, and that's not an arrogant statement, that's because I didn't know what the hell was going on. I didn't think, oh, I'm going to try and heal this mouse. That's what I was saying earlier about it being intuitive. I didn't think, let's try and heal this mouse. I just took this mouse, put it in my hands, and that's what happened. So I never had any doubt as to whether it would work or not. I didn't get time to think about it.
Right.
And obviously that being a success, and you know, like I say, you've got to be there at the time. If it's actually you can feel that energy, you can see that result. It's different to being there to watching it on video. Right. And obviously that just instills confidence in you straight away. It's like, wow, Becky was right. Wow. No ifs, buts, or maybes, no doubts. The next thing comes along, you're totally down with it. But what I said to you, Tony, in a chat that we had a while ago is, I'm not going to go over what I said last time, but human beings are defined by what they're taught and who they're told they are. No. You are spiritual beings existing within a vessel. This is a shell. The only constraint of your mind is your mind and what you've been taught as to what is possible and what is not possible. Once you can free yourself of that, then anything is possible. You will believe it, and if you believe it, it will work. It will happen. Just to retract that slightly, if you've got, like I said to you before, you've got 20 people in a race, and one of the guys in the race believes he's going to lose, he's not going to win.
Mm-hmm.
Your only limitations are your mind. Anything is possible. We're not living in the world you think we're living in, and you are not who you are. This is a man-made world with many distractions, and you are who you are taught to be.
Yeah.
Anything is possible, Tony.
And that, the one thing that jumps out at me, and this is one of the reasons I love this second episode of these two, is that a genuine skeptic, and they've heard me say this a million times, a genuine skeptic wants the truth. When somebody says that this stuff is not possible and they don't believe in it, they're a believer. They're just a believer in an opposing paradigm that thinks none of it's possible. But that's a belief system.
Yeah,
Ultimately, data is king. And Dom, what you do, especially some of these instances we've seen evidence of, is irrefutable. Data supports it. So when somebody turns their nose up at that and says that's a bunch of bull, that's bias. That's not an open mind. That's not an assessment. That's like evaluating a fish by its ability to work a calculator. It's not a feasible scale to check it whatsoever.
Also, that's not being skeptical, that's being cynical. The two things are totally different. And the amount of skeptics,
that's right.
Skeptics, they're not skeptics, they're cynics. They've got no right to even be in the subject because there's no room for cynics.
Yeah, that's an excellent point, Don. And the other thing that really stands out is that I don't know of anything that you've done that can't be literally proven with the effects. I mean, even like just the short, tiny clip we saw of Bob. I mean, you saw the reaction to the pulse, to the heartbeat drop in a matter of seconds. I mean, you have the scientific data to back all the tests, all the things that you've done.
I'm also an honest guy, Tony.
That I know.
Bob, eventually the situation went back to its previous state. Bob did actually end up having some kind of electrical therapy on his heart or something to get it sorted. But that doesn't take away from the fact that what we did had an effect, and it lasted a little while. Okay. Now, under normal circumstances, I could have probably gone back to Bob every day for a week and done the same thing, and it may have totally remedied it permanently. But there's two different things here. There's treating the symptom and treating the cause.
Right.
They are two totally different things.
Yeah.
In the I think with Lucy and Hank, the dog had a stroke. We did that 18 months later. There's been no repercussions from that. That's fine. Cheyenne, 2 years later, whatever, she's fine. And also there's Tim's dog. I spoke to his wife maybe 6 months ago. She said, thank you for what he did with the dog. He's just extending his happiness. He's still fine. So obviously some things is a permanent fix. Other things may require me to do it more than once. I don't know, because I've never had the opportunity to have to revisit and do something.
Right.
And then there's the other thing. There's the molecular level where some things can change, and obviously they do in the case of the dog, etc. And then there's other things where it's a case of taking away the pain. Sophia, Pipsqueak as I call her, Paddy's dog. She was on the floor and a big dog fell on top of her and basically squished her. She was in so much pain, if you touched her, she would snap at you, and that's not Sophia. So I said, you know what, let me try this. I did the same thing to Sophia. Straight away, she was fine. By the time we got to the vet, you couldn't find anything wrong with her. Wow. We went to a store on the way back, and I waited in the car, and Patty went in, and I said, Becky, what happened with Sophia? Did we just take away her pain? And Becky just said, that is correct. So there's different aspects. There's a lot of different variables, different aspects of this. Some things we can alter on the molecular level. Other times you're just taking away the pain. Paddy might come in and say, "Donkey, give me a blast on my tongue to take away the bee sting." Hey, I don't know, But so yeah, I mean, I've always been honest. I don't understand it 100% myself. All I know is that it works, and everything has worked 100% up to now. And I hope that will continue because, as I said in the previous show, I just feel that's a life worth living when you can do such things.
Agreed. Completely agreed. Chris, can you pop that question back up? Because I think that was
it's a great question.
So Donna wants to know, what if Becky goes away and stops communicating with you? Does that concern you at all? And then she says you're amazing, but
thank you. I appreciate the question as well. And it's a good one. I passed worrying about Becky disappearing on me a lot of years ago, and she actually did one time for a week. Now this is absolutely incredible. I was on a really one of the worst cases actually in Northampton in Leicestershire. Was on the way there. There was me, my ex-partner, and at the time a team member in the back of the car. And we're driving along, and I suddenly felt this blast of energy, and I pulled over. I said, and I didn't even have a recorder with me. I said, Becky, can you imagine being in the car with a guy, two of you, and in the car, out of the air, you hear this. It's Edward. Can you imagine that? It's Edward in a human voice. It's Edward. There's nobody else in the car. And I went, hello, Edward. Where's Becky? He said, and Steve Merritt knows about this. Steve Merritt has been documenting me for a long time. He said, Becky had to go away. And I'm thinking at the time, bullshit. Becky would not do that without actually saying to me, hey, I've got to go away for a while. So I said, okay, so away from Edward, he mentioned this cemetery, which always makes me curious. And apparently Becky had asked him to help me while she was away. Now, Becky never said anything to me about that. And that's why I didn't actually believe him. I thought, yeah, okay. Yeah, you know what, I'm nobody's fool. And then he went on and on and on and on. And I said, okay. Went to this place. This woman, I mean, Tony, I don't like to use the word demonic. To me, demonic is not a thing. It's good, others bad. Because there's many variants of bad, as you know. And such forth was the fact that this woman, social services was involved. This woman actually took her family in the middle of winter, moved to another person's house, freezing conditions, living in a tent because they were so scared to go home. I got there, Tony. It was crazy.
Wow.
It was absolutely crazy. So Edward was pretty good throughout, and his vocal abilities were very impressive. Over the next several days, I spoke to Edward in my workshop in my old place. Yeah. Okay, this guy's good. The case I just spoke to, I'd like the opportunity to actually discuss that on another show at some point. So I said, Becky. Becky was nowhere. I couldn't get nothing from Becky. I'm like, what's going on? Because Becky's with me 24/7, as you know. And bear in mind, Becky's been with me now 11 to 12 years, which is totally unprecedented in itself. And then it was several days later, I said to Edward, Edward, when's Becky going to come back? This was on the recorder, I pressed play. This little voice came on in a kind of playful way. She went, did you miss me? I just said, Becky, where have you been? Now this is the kicker. She said, I had to go to heaven. Wow, that's a big one. I had to go to heaven.
That's huge.
I thought she went on vacation.
Yeah, she went on vacation. She's probably in an SUV, Tony, camping somewhere in Arizona.
Sorry, camping somewhere.
Yeah, she went camping. She went on vacation.
Yeah. But
in heaven.
The point of fact is, these guys will use words we associate with, like heaven. It does not necessarily mean it's our interpretation or depiction of what a place is. But the fact she had to go somewhere, and she used the word heaven, and I was pretty blown away by that, because then I started asking questions. Heaven? What? Heaven's a real place? I mean, I'm not going to get into that right now. But anyway, yeah, to answer your viewer's question, she did disappear one time for that week, and apparently she had to go quickly. She didn't get a chance to tell me. Edward took over. She came back, and she's been, but that's the only one time that she ever left me.
That's amazing.
That is amazing.
Hold on, guys. I have a very important person. Yes, you can come in. Shall I help you?
Yes.
Close that door again.
I know. I want to see that door.
What knocks?
Sounds painful.
Okay. I got stung in the tongue.
Yeah, I told them
I'm
that.
not allergic to bees. I'm allergic to wasps, and it wasn't a wasp. It was a bee.
Oh, that's good.
Oh my God.
Oh, okay, good.
Ibuprofen, and
Hi, Patty.
hi, and it hurts like a.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God!
You know how many nerves are in your tongue? That would kill.
It was in the bottom of my glass, and I went like this. And it went. I haven't been stung since I was little.
To anyone that doesn't know, your new viewers or whatever, this is my wife Patty.
Hi, everybody.
I thought the same thing. And stung in the tongue.
Oh, God,
Poetic and painful.
Let me see.
Let me tell you.
Keep your tongue out.
Yeah, I want to see it.
Oh my God.
A live demonstration, Don. That'd be
there
really
you go.
cool.
That would be awesome.
Speaking of which, Tony, I don't know if you all that can play maybe later on. We have got a demonstration of that, haven't we? That I sent you.
Yeah.
Demonstration.
I was in here one night with Becky and the guys, and I was, oh my God, I look slaughtered. I'm so tired. You have no idea. My eyes are like
That's a normal thing for him.
And I just to show that I can affect guys in a good way or a bad way. And one of the guys went, I could feel that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Tony, we can play that later on. That's fine. But again, it's substantiation. Anyway, it's clear. Give me a kiss.
No.
Yeah, it's great to.
No.
You don't want a healing
no,
kiss.
because
All right. Well, it is great to have you back on, Patty, and so glad that the sting was definitely a bee, not a wasp. Not that either one is fun to be stung in the tongue by, but
no, that's an unusual
not
thing.
Allergic to, so that's a plus.
I was saying to the guys that maybe your tongue will swell up and you may not be able to talk, but
Oh, that would really disappoint me.
So what I would like to do next, before we move into sort of the next subject that Don's involved with Becky and the adventures and the paranormal investigations. I mean, this stuff's going to blow your mind. But I would like to talk about, since our last show on last Monday, what Ron and Lourdes did the next night. And I have a clip for that, but I'd like to let Ron and Lourdes just kind of give an explanation of the clip I'm going to play. So why don't you guys go ahead and tell because this clip is amazing. Yeah. At least I think it is.
We appreciate that. So first, let us start out by telling people that we did this with the utmost respect. If we were not truly astounded by the gifts, the abilities, and the personal strength of character, the type of person that Don Phillips is and has shown us that he is, we would not even have spent any time doing this. But we see the genuineness in what he does. We see the data, and we don't need to be convinced when we see something that looks legit and we know is heartfelt. And so we wanted to, as a part of a united front with what we all do, we wanted to see if it was possible, as amazing as it is to interview him, if any kind of a miniature interview with Becky was at all possible. Now, for people watching, this is not something that's going to be routine. We're not looking to appropriate a contact. What he has is special, and it should stay that way. We're not in any way suggesting that anybody try to mimic or do that. This was something we purely did out of love and respect, because we were genuinely blown away by what it is he does, and it's special.
Can I interject there? It's important.
Absolutely.
I said to Tony, I need to check with Becky that was Becky. Okay.
Yep.
Becky said, and this was last night. I did a video. I'm going to put it on YouTube. Becky said, "It was me. It was."
I knew it. I knew it.
When yeah, I know that's a big deal. Now it's a big deal to me because throughout the 11, 12 years I've been with Becky, there's been several people trying to ask Becky questions. She won't even respond. Me, Steve Merritt, and Chris was in a cemetery, part of a documentary that we've not actually done anything with, to be honest, with Leslie from Little Tubby Castle. And they, you know, we're always pushing the boundaries. That's important. You know, you never get comfortable where you are. Do you know what? If you fail, it doesn't matter, because failure leads to success, because you only achieve success through failure. That's how you learn. Fortunately, I don't have a lot of failures. So we had 3 recorders. They all got the same. Olympus DM670s. We was in the cemetery. I asked a question. First of all, I asked a question to any spirits that was in the locality. My recorder out of all 3, exactly the same make and model and settings, was the only one that achieved a result, a reply, a mail. Then I asked Becky a question. She replied. She only responded on my recorder. All was recorded at the same time, only mine actually achieved something. So I was curious about this when Tony sent me this video clip.
Yeah, because when she wants to say something to me, she'll tell Dawn, tell her, blah, 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 blah.
Many people have tried for a long time to get anything out of Becky, and you know it ain't going to happen. Because
that was my next question, Patty. Was has she spoken to you?
Which is totally exclusive, and I mean that in a literal sense, for reasons I'm not going to go into. So I did actually say, she said, it was me. Next question, Becky. Okay, interesting. Why? Not a problem with it, but why? Because it was to do with validation, because now is the time of truth. I've been around a lot of years in the UK where a lot of my time has been wasted. I'm in the US now. I'm in the right place. It is the time for truth. We are going to make some waves. We're going to piss a few people off along the way. But now we are going to challenge. We're going to do everything that we need to do to achieve our objectives. So this was from Becky to you guys, a validation. Hey, I'm Becky and I'm real.
All right. Here.
You should ask her, if you don't mind, what does she think about our method of communication? Because I'm kind of curious. Because
I can, unfortunately, the technology that you use, I mean, it's great, but obviously it needs a lot of fine tuning, as do many methods. I mean, I don't use anything apart from Becky will talk out of the air sometimes, and a voice recorder. I mean, I go on an investigation. I've got nothing but a camera and a voice recorder. Nobody does that in the 21st century. I do. The problem is, if we can refine the equipment you use so it's more normal sounding than the thing that goes on with the echo and everything.
Right.
I mean, to be honest, I was surprised. There was all this swearing and this going on and something about hospitals and hearts, and I thought, well, what's this got to do with Becky? And then all of a sudden, it stood out like black and white. It's like, it's Becky. Which is exactly what you said. The second time, she said, can you say it's Becky? She said, it's Becky. So Becky did that in order to, I guess she meant the fact that she's real and to help me and everything that's going on. But yeah, Tony, I was impressed with that, to be honest.
Yeah, because we get many voices. We do get many voices. So I'm glad she was able to come through above all those other voices.
From those, didn't she? There's a lot of babbling going along and heart and this and that and everything. But the one thing that stands out, it's Becky.
Yeah.
And that's what you asked for, and that's what you got. And so, yeah, I can confirm. Good job, guys, for the first time. You're the only people who actually got anything.
It was an honor. It was an honor for us. It was an honor for us to do it, and we were hoping that's what it was. And if it wasn't what we were hoping it was, we still would have been thrilled because we get vocal responses. Just as a point of reference, too, the method we're doing, direct radio voice, is really prominent in Europe. It's not prominent here in the States, and my mentor was Dr. Annabelle Cardoso, who's now in Spain, but formerly the female ambassador to Portugal. And she sat with Marcello Bacci, who's we're basically one step removed from. So that's the lineage from where we come with the methodology and the intent we have. So again, we did it with the utmost respect.
With all respect, I don't know what it is you use. I don't know how it works. I hear a lot of mumbling. I hear a lot of voices and different things and this and that. Nothing makes sense to me. But you know what? If we're listening for one specific thing on request, it's Becky. And I hear it's Becky. Push the rest aside.
Right.
It's Becky. You requested it, you got it, and it is so clear. So yeah, you know what? Hats off to you guys. Good job.
Thank you.
All right, I'm gonna play that clip, but give me a second because I want to be able to control it. So therefore, I'm going to share the screen because I don't want to ruin the clip before I say it. But Becky's voice starts as a whisper and then becomes full tone. You can hear her full tonality of her voice, especially when she says Becky. So give me 1 second to bring this up.
And she said it twice during the recording, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
She gave it to us twice.
Okay, I just had it up. Where did it go?
It should be.
I don't want
Are
to
you
play
playing
it.
the whole thing, Tony, or just the kind of it's Becky part?
Okay, I got it. 1 second.
Okay.
Oh, and just before I play this clip, because we're coming up on the top of the hour, if you are watching via the Unex network and you want to continue watching, please switch over to either Facebook or YouTube because the show is going to go on. And trust me, this is stuff you are not going to want to miss. What is going on?
Just drag it.
No, I don't want it over there, honey. I want to share it off of here and it's not coming up. Okay, sorry. Give me 1 second. I'm having some sort of technical.
It's the wonderments of life, Tony.
You know what? When I try to do that, I'll play it once here because it is loaded here. So here's that clip.
One week ago, on our podcast, Entity Voices Paranormal Evidence, we had the opportunity and privilege to interview a gentleman named Don Phillips. Don's mediumistic capabilities, his abilities to heal, to affect matter, and much more were beyond staggering and to us quite impressive. A lot of what he does is said to be done in concert with an energy or an entity lovingly referred to as Becky. When while interviews with Don himself are both special and rare, we felt, based on what we do in direct radio voice, that an interview with Becky would not only be amazing, but far more rare. That is exactly what we did. This file is an excerpt from that evening.
It does change a little bit, not that, but different. Can Becky come forward and at least say hello to us if we spoke to Dom yesterday? Possibly? Okay. When she can she please just say her name so we know she's with us?
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, again, without appearing to be disrespectful, Tony, because I totally respect you, your guys, and the way you work, there will be certain parts in that clip which are clearly or possibly audio pareidolia. But the It's Becky, without doubt, is there. And so is some of the other stuff. I'm not saying the rest of it's not. But yeah, you did a good job, guys.
Thank you.
What I particularly like about it is that so many things that we had talked about on the show were referenced, and they weren't necessarily referenced from Becky, but from the other spirits that were communicating. The things like the mouse and them saying mouse.
Yeah, I mean, and do you know what, as well, Tony? You know, I have to be skeptical of what, even when I'm playing a record back from Becky sometimes. Sometimes what you think you're hearing is not necessarily what you're hearing. You know, that audio pareidolia. I mean,
Right.
That's how it works. I mean, that's not a secret. You know that, and you'll agree with
Right.
that anyway. There are certain things within that sequence that are obviously clear, and other things that would be, you know, kind of. But you know, at the end of the day, we're all doing the best that we can. But yeah, the It's Becky was that was definitely there. And to be honest, Tony, I wasn't expecting it to be there. When you sent me that track, I was like, yeah, that wouldn't be Becky. Even when I heard it, I'm like, that wouldn't be Becky. That's why I had to say to Becky, was that you? And she went, it was me. I was impressed at that point, very impressed. Because
that's awesome.
I hear stuff, people doing this and that, and certain other people who we know what we're talking about. We're not going to mention the name, but they fake a lot of shit. I'm not suggesting you do for 1 minute. But I don't know, I understand your technology. I don't know how it works. I don't know what voices I'm hearing, how they're supposed to be generated. But like I said before, when you ask a specific question, can you say it's Becky? And you get It's Becky pretty much straight afterwards.
Right.
You can't dispute that. It's there.
Yeah.
It's there. It was. It sounds like it was. It's Becky.
Mm-hmm.
Right. It's completely clear. It's completely audible, and it's not one where you have to second guess what you're hearing. So, but to explain.
This is a woman. 1970s. She's been killed. She's at a party. There's a guy with long hair. He's asked her for a lift. She's driving a red Toyota. She said it's unsolved. Help me. Colorado. I've got to get out of here for a second, guys. Just bear with me. Sorry.
That's what happens.
Yeah, exactly what happens.
I mean, this can happen anywhere. And we had these spirits, women, at the Brookdale, and there's a lot of killers that is in that area back in the 70s. But this is Colorado, so I was surprised it wasn't California, because there's women there that's still asking for help, and he can see what happened to them.
Right.
So this is different in Colorado. I don't.
So they're using Dawn's body when they're trying to reach out or need some help. Probably they're using Dawn's body.
Well,
And
they
just-
are,
And the thing is, usually these women have never been found, and they're fine in the on the other side. It's just their family and friends don't know where their bodies have been.
So they want to tell their story. They want to let people know what happened.
Exactly. And, you know, Don has expressed to me many times, and I know, Patty, you and Don have expressed this, but he's like, well, what if it happens when I'm in the middle of a show? We were talking about Don, just let it occur. But Don has actually located bodies, like hundreds, maybe even thousands, I don't know how many years ago, but has the ability to do that.
Yeah.
Okay, so
No apologies needed.
No.
and do you know what? Stuff like this, I never put on camera. Normally. But do you know what? Sorry about this, Tony, but you know what? Fuck it.
Right.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
And I'm fed up, Tony. I'm not doing this anymore. You know, I'm not hiding. I am what I am.
Yeah.
I do what I do.
Yeah.
And it's real.
We
That
know
is not
that.
unique. That's been going on for a long time.
Yeah.
That is when I get a direct connection with the spirit. That is what it happens. That is what we've always hidden from people.
Yeah.
Not anymore. You can take it or you can leave it. I didn't get a name. We need to. It's the same with was it Linda Ann Milosevic at Brookdale?
Yeah, in Brookdale. I was telling them about that.
Who was filming, and all of a sudden I got this connection, and we had to stop filming because the same thing happened. And I can see this. I can see it. I saw her. She was at a party. There's a guy they've been cracking onto her basically, and it's all in seconds. And she wasn't interested in everything, and then they had drinks and stuff, and she should not have been driving, and he asked her for a lift home, and he killed her, and it was a red Toyota, and I know it's Colorado. Now what's going to happen is that was the first one, because believe you me, once these guys start on this stuff, it comes in little pieces. That's got a lot to go on. What we need is a name, we need a year, and then we can look at this. And do you know what?
You said the 70s, so.
Sometime in the 70s. I'm thinking it was in 1974. But do you know what, Tony? I had the same thing in Brookdale, and Sheriff Tim said I got resources from the Sheriff's Department to uncover this, because this woman had been missing for so many years. And before I got back there, they actually the last thing was she was telling me about a reservoir or something. And before I got back there 2.5 years ago, because we was going to go back and incorporate the show's resources, and I mentioned reservoir or something, and she did to me. They've actually found some bones in a reservoir. They did a DNA and found that it was this missing woman, the one that I'd named in the Brookdale Lodge documentary. So again,
But there's other women there too.
oh my God, we went back to Tim's cabin, didn't we?
Mm.
And there was all these guys. I've actually got this on video, so if you want to do a third show, we can do that. I can show this. This was.
I've seen. I know exactly what you're talking about. You shared it with me. It was amazing.
No, I don't think you've seen this, where they're saying come and find us and everything. But
It's such a.
what does that say on the screen? Your battery is low. Well, that's no good, is it?
Who's that? Oh no.
So you know what? It's unprecedented. It's weird. I know this is not fake. This is real. This is how I get direct interaction with spirit people. And you know what? It's not normally on camera. I'm trying to introduce people to me a little bit at a time. That was a whole lot too much too soon. I understand that.
What battery?
No, it like you said, it is what it is.
Yeah.
And
It is what it is, Tony. You know what? I'm not going to hide from it anymore. I'm not going to hide stuff from the public. You know,
correct.
We went to a cemetery in Santa Cruz. It was a really bad stuff going on, and people getting this and that and everything else. Do you know what? I took something on there, didn't I? That was making me vomit.
Yeah.
Do you remember?
Yeah.
These guys that was
I
with me was
remember.
actually seeing things, looking around the trees.
Black figures, like
Little
little
black
minions
figures.
looking around the tree
And everything.
and,
Again,
yeah,
and do you know what? At that point, we was filming this, and I said, you know, just before this happened, I knew something was going. I said, cut the camera, and we did.
Yeah.
Because a lot of stuff is not. Science don't understand it. The public don't understand it. There's so many people out
We
there.
shouldn't have cut the camera now, though.
Do you know what?
Think
Now I would
about it.
use that footage.
Yeah.
There's people out there and they're faking shit all the time, making these claims. This is real. Like I said earlier, you are not living in the world that you think you're living in. This man-made world. So, do you know what, Tony? Now I'm in the US. The gloves are off. People will see me for who I am and what I am and what I do, and they can take it, they can leave it, they can do what they want with it. I don't care anymore.
So Don, so when that happens to you, does it feel like you're like in a time slip, perhaps? Like if you're actually there, or do you see it like a movie? Like how?
I see it as I'm looking now. I see it.
Okay.
I see it.
Yeah.
And so, your batteries, those are just going to go off.
It is going to go off any second. So, guys, just talk among yourselves. I need to make sure my power's connected to the laptop. So, for people that don't understand what they've just seen, you can tell that is not fake. You cannot fake that shit, right?
No.
You cannot fake that reaction on your body. You just cannot.
And if you would be close to him and look at him, I mean, his tears, his eyes are.
That, you know what? It is. Like I said, it is what it is. And it doesn't matter what I say, what I explain, people.
And we were in a 7-Eleven,
People
you
are
know,
not
walking
gonna
through,
understand it.
and he crossed.
Let me sort the battery out.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he did that. And
Don,
I'm the
while
one
you-
that usually pulls him out of the public's view, so they don't think he's having like a heart attack or something. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I'm
Right.
like, Don, get in the car, get in the car.
While
get
you
in the
guys
car.
fix your camera and get your battery hooked up, let Don know I'm going to play the Brookdale Lodge intro, because I think that's where we're going to go next, and it'll be I guess it's only 1:31, but it'll give you a little bit of time to and then we can talk about the Brookdale Lodge. So here's the Brookdale Lodge intro clip.
We're surrounded by a world of many mysteries. One of those mysteries is the afterlife. After many years working in the UK, I'm now travelling in America to help others unlock mysteries, investigate hauntings, and prove another place of existence is very real. And sometimes events of the past can survive into our future. I'm Don Phillips, and you are watching American Supernatural Uncovered.
Tonight on American Supernatural Uncovered, Don Phillips and his team joined forces with the Santa Cruz Ghost Hunters to investigate claims of paranormal activity at the famous, world-renowned Brookdale Lodge, located deep within the Santa Cruz Mountains, surrounded by giant redwoods. The lodge has long been associated with paranormal activity. Are there still past guests who refuse to check out?
Awesome.
Okay, we're all sorted. So, yeah, one of the documentaries I want to put out on the networks is one of them is the Brookdale Lodge. Absolutely incredible place. It's world renowned for what it is. Owner Pravin Patel, absolutely fantastic guy. And we did an investigation there, and Maury from Santa Cruz Ghost Hunters and Tim was from Santa Cruz Ghost Hunters. And they was pretty blown away by what I actually did while I was there. So, yeah. And sorry about earlier. I'm fine now.
No apologies needed, Don.
I will never be able to explain what's happening, how it's happening, and people never understand it. But you know what, guys? It is what it is, and I'm an honest person. But what I will say, just before we get into this clip, I'm going to check this out now and see if we can get a name to this and pursue it. because that's pretty important. Obviously, you know, when you get that interaction with a spirit personality that comes to you because they know that you can help them, they know that you'll be able to attain information, then you can't just ignore that. You don't just carry on with that. You know,
right. I think Chris had popped up a question. Somebody was asking, do you think because of the fact that we were discussing this, because you're on the show, that they took that as an opportunity because you were talking about interactions you've had with them and in the past, that maybe you were available to them to affect you like that?
Tony, this can happen at any place, any time. I did a presentation in Blackpool in the UK many years ago. Normal presentation. I do things on the fly. I don't write stuff down and read from this and everything. I'm just me. I do what I do, and just so I was just going along. And this woman appeared. It wasn't anything like that. This woman. I was and the audience was sitting there listening to my presentation. I just stopped. I took my recorder out of my pocket. I said, "I've got a lady with me. Yes, sweetheart. What can I do for you?" I said, "I'm pretty busy right now because I'm pretty casual about this thing." You know? She said,
"Right.
I just want answers." The audience were flabbergasted because I played it over the mic, and it was already me actually going around to all the audience playing this recording, and they were totally blown away, like a live demonstration. But that was never part of the plan, and it was the first time anyone actually given an unplanned, well, any sort of on the spot kind of thing. That was amazing. And Ben Emily Jones still talks about this day. He's like, wow, it was amazing. It was off the cuff, fly by the wire, and this woman just appeared. So you know what, this thing can happen at any time, any place, anywhere.
Someone asked a question. So there it is. Do you see it as a third person or a first person? Like, so do you see it as like you're looking in, or do you see it through the person's eyes?
It's like watching TV. I'm looking in.
Okay.
I'm not there. I am looking. In fact, you know what? I'm gonna tell them this because you know what? I don't care anymore.
What?
We had a raccoon.
Oh,
a
wow.
massive raccoon. This was
2 nights ago.
A couple of nights ago, walking along the fence. No problem. Now the thing is, Steve will tell you. Steve's known me for many, many years. Steve Murray, who the guy I did a lot of experiments with. I've always had these periodic, just flashes of something for 2, 3, 2, 1 seconds that don't mean anything. A man and a woman talking in the kitchen. Like, what's that even mean? You know, and I can be driving, I can be doing anything, and it's just bang, it's there. I got quite emotional because the first time I realised it was in real time. We did the whole raccoon thing, didn't we? I filmed him on the fence.
Mm-hmm.
And it was sometime afterwards, I'm sitting there talking to Peggy Lawson, and I got this 2 or 1 or 3 second thing in my mind, and I could see this raccoon, the other side of this tall fence, exactly where it was and what he was doing, to the point I took my phone and put it on video. I didn't even look over the fence. I just put it in the direction. I pressed record. We played it back.
There he was.
There he was, exactly where I said he was. And that was, to me, the first time I realised that what I was seeing was actually in real time. And that was, for me, a total mind blow. I got a little bit emotional, didn't I? Not a lot, a little bit about it. Because I said it I think I said in the last show that I had these little flashy things. I don't know what they mean. They don't mean anything. But obviously, to me now, it proves it's not something made up in your mind. It's a thing. And I'm getting stronger incrementally, aren't I?
Mm-hmm.
Along the way. And to me, this is a pretty new thing. It's been going on for a couple of years, which didn't make any sense. But that was the first time I actually saw in real time something that was taking place, which I could actually show on the camera. It was incredible. I don't know what's happening with me, guys. I don't know. I just know that everything that's happening with me is to do with spiritual sense, with Becky and whatever. And as Becky would say, it's for
the better good.
The better good. She always said, it's for the better good. So there it is.
Has Becky ever disclosed to you? Because I mean, I think we all share the opinion that what you do is not only amazing, but important and extremely valuable. So being in the meat pajamas, as Chris referenced, I say, you know, for a period of time, has Becky ever disclosed? Are there others? Will there be someone who will take the torch when your time on this plane is done? Because
good question.
Yeah, it is an excellent question.
That is a really good question.
I've never asked. I don't know.
Do you think the torch will be handed to you?
The thing is this, and I'm not even going to go there, kind of. But if I was to say to Becky, why have I been selected to do what I can do? There's a lot of people on this planet, and everything. She'll give a certain answer, which I'm not even going to put out. But if anyone ever finds the answers to that question, that is from Becky. That is not from me.
Mm.
A powerful thing. I'm here for a purpose, and it is only through shows like this, Tony, we can get the message out and people realise what is actually possible. I know not everyone is as fortunate as I am, because I've got the whole goddamn lot going on, but you know, I embrace that, and I appreciate every single goddamn day on this planet, whether it's a good day, whether it's a bad day. I don't care, because you know what? We wake up in the morning, every day is just a normal day. How many people have done that? Gone to work, had a car crash, boom, they've gone. You've got to appreciate and love the people that you love, and you have to embrace every single goddamn day, because no matter what age you are, you think you've got years left and everything. The truth of the matter is, you really don't know if that's your last day, last week on this goddamn planet.
That's right.
You've got to appreciate every single day that you live on this planet.
And I'm really trying to do that, but it's really hard.
that was my next question.
Mold you into a certain way. We take things for granted by human nature. That is what we do.
But that was my next question for you, Patty. Was how long did it take you to adjust to this occurring on a daily, weekly, however time it occurs basis?
But when he does what he does,
right? I mean, how when you first met him in this, you know, you started to see this, and you know, I'm not going to go into detail, but I know the stories. I know what happened with Steve and the tree and all that. How long did that take you to get comfortable with, to just accept it and say, okay, this is what it is?
Well, you know what? The weird thing about it is, I accepted it right away. It didn't scare me. So many people have said, aren't you scared? You know, like some friends and relatives. Aren't you scared? Right. No.
I have a choice.
I was scared one time when I saw this really weird thing going on.
Oh, that thing in the cabin.
The thing at the cabin.
Oh,
we were at Tim's cabin.
I'll tell them.
No.
No, you tell them. You tell them.
This is my story.
It's your story.
we were outside, you know, and of the cabin, and we were just kind of looking around, and all of a sudden, Don saw this light. My back was to it, and he saw this. We were having
kind of a drink of beer, weren't we?
Yeah, and he was like, well, "There's a weird looking thing, like light thing," and so I turned around, and from outside the cabin, it came, and it was like this.
It was about 20 feet in front of us.
Yeah, and it was doing this, and it was skinny, and I was like, okay, forget it, and I went.
Oh my God!
In the cabin.
Within a second, this woman
I
was
was
gone.
like, okay, that was the
cabin,
weirdest thing I've ever seen. Forget it. And I locked him out there. And when I came back out, he was laughing his ass off. And I'm like, that wasn't funny. But, you know, he's not scared of anything. And occasionally when I see something that's not quite, that's a little bit weird.
Okay, let me elaborate on this. This is a big confession, guys. I took a Viagra. You didn't see that one coming, did you?
Oh, God.
Okay, let me take
I didn't see that one coming.
No, let me do this.
We don't want to see that one coming, Don.
Embarrassing, right? I know that I needed one. I'm just saying. So I come across this Viagra, and this night I thought, I'm going to give it a little pop. And it was a couple of hours later. We were just outside drinking, and okay, we got a night planned, and I thought this will be interesting. See if it, you know, the thing is, this Viagra, it makes your eyes do something where you see things in blue, blue, and especially seems extra strong. And we were just outside talking. I swear to God, I saw. Do you know if you imagine you've got a doorway with a light behind it, and the door opens, you see the light at the bottom of the door. It goes like this. I was just talking. I looked at the end of the yard, at Tim's cabin.
Yeah.
Tim, I know you don't know this, but you know what you do now. And I saw this thing like a door opening and light being let through. I said to Patty, wow, I've just seen like a door opening and a light coming through. Blue. This was due to the Viagra because it was too eyes, apparently. And it was like, I mean, come on, guys. I mean, I'm not going to ask you, but lots of people have tried a Viagra just for a kicker, you know. And it was about 30 seconds after that. This other thing was there that Patty saw that come through the door.
It was like a humanoid figure. It was really tall and really skinny. And
she freaked the hell out. She was. When I say a second, I'm not exaggerating. She was gone. The door was shut, and I was out there. I'm going like, Patty, she's gone. So what was in? But the point of this is, what I mentioned about what's intriguing to me is, we saw a certain extra spectrum of light that I would not have normally seen. You see where I'm coming from? Would I have seen that if I hadn't taken that Viagra?
Interesting, huh? But no, but back to the original question.
How many guys want to show and say, "Hey guys, I've had a Viagra"?
No, I always accepted him as he was because I saw what he could do, and it was fascinating to me, and it was more of a fascination, and also we were such close friends. He was like my best. What? Oh yeah, the camera's there. Okay. But and so it was like a blessing to me that I got to witness all this stuff.
Yeah.
And so as the time goes on, I just, I know Becky, I know him, I know that these things happen at 7-Eleven.
Yeah, let's not even go there.
So once
during the Thanksgiving table with my family.
Let's not go there either.
Wow. Viagra.
No control. And so, you know what? It's just like, and it's funny because my son, who's 16, it's no big deal to him. He's like, oh, yeah, okay.
Do you know, guys, we're entering into...
It's just, if you live with it, it's kind of, it becomes your normal, I guess.
It is my normal. Well, it's me, but we are... Me
I
and
think
Becky.
Chris had a question.
Okay.
So in the Viagra case, Don, do you think that might have been Viagra Padilla or
what?
Padilla.
Was that spectrum
No,
of
I
light
actually
caused by
think
the
I actually wonder whether I'd have actually seen that if I hadn't taken the Viagra. Of light which we cover.
And then something came through because I saw it like instant after that.
So this is stuff we don't put publicly.
Wow.
I think Anthony Cinderella has
Did you say on
Yes,
hey, I had a
you did.
Viagra and saw a monster? Did I say that?
Yeah, I saw
All right.
I'm never going to live that one down. But
Yeah.
you know what?
We are running at the hour and a half mark, so we don't have a lot of time left.
Okay.
But first of all, can you put Anthony's question back up? I know the answer to this, but I want Don to answer it. But he says, does Becky ever warn you about any danger you might be in?
Totally.
Totally.
You can tell by that response. Okay, so one of the first times was 2.5 years ago when the COVID thing hit. Patty was over with me in the UK, came to visit me, didn't you?
Mm-hmm.
And she got a flight booked.
It was at the beginning of COVID.
When it was really bad. And Becky said on the recorder, I got a blast off Becky, and I mean, I want to say something. Yes, Becky. She said, what did she say?
Don't get on the plane.
Don't get on the plane. To the point.
To go home, to come back here.
Patty rescheduled her flight. That's one example. Now, I can only assume Becky could see what was going to happen. That Patty, the plane obviously wasn't going to crash. It didn't crash. Okay, so I can only assume that Patty would have got COVID. More recently, I mean, this has been several times. I totally live my life, as Steve Murray knows and everybody else, unquestionably by Becky, because she's never been wrong about a goddamn thing, and she's been validated so many times. More recently, was it about 5 months ago? She said, "Don't go out today to the store."
It was about a year ago.
It was about a year ago. Wow,
Yeah.
time flies. So, and I've never questioned Becky as to why. And say, okay, and that's it. That's as far as it goes. This time, out of curiosity, we'd had a couple of drinks on me that night. I said, Becky, why did you say don't go out in the store? she told us what was going to happen. If I'd have gone to the store that particular night, I would have been involved in a crash, a car crash, a very bad car crash. That is why she said, don't go out tonight. Now, what's interesting is Becky, there seems to be a thing, like you've got different paths, every decision you make, it's like if I slapped you in the face right now, that would change the whole course of tonight's events, as opposed to just talking nicely to these wonderful viewers and Tony and other guys.
Right.
Becky seems to see these different routes and divert me from one route to another. The reason I didn't go out that night, and I went out every night, didn't I, to the store, Fred Myers, actually. This one night she says, don't go out tonight. Okay, I just didn't. And was it a couple of months after we asked her why? Or a month after or something?
Yeah.
She said there would have been a crash and it would not have ended well for me. So to answer your question in short, Becky, yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
That again is an amazing thing.
One time we were walking through the airport.
Oh, the laptop.
The laptop.
Oh,
and we went through
God.
security, right? And his really expensive laptop.
£1,200.
Yeah.
That's pounds, not dollars.
He accidentally left it.
No, they didn't pack it. They
They
put it
didn't.
back.
Yeah, that's right. So as we were walking towards the gate,
Got a
she blasts. And then he immediately knew what she was talking about. And he goes, my laptop. So we rushed back. There it was.
There was.
Wow.
I live my life by Becky.
Yeah.
Barry Fitzgerald said in a video that I don't approve this symbiotic relationship between Don and Becky. And that's a typical response. No disrespect to Barry. Barry is an absolutely amazing guy, and his wife Donna. I love them guys. But this is all down to the same thing that people do not understand. They base everything on their perceptions. Barry can't know me or Becky as well as we know each other or what's going on, And this is the problem that I'm having trying to put stuff out to people. They don't understand. Is he a devil worshipper? Is he satanic? Is this, that, and everything else? Is Becky trapped? She's a demon. I mean, Brian Allen, is Becky a demon? Yeah, obviously she's a demon.
Right.
I know she's not, but I cannot portray that to people to prove that she's not. Becky's a very powerful being.
But she's also very loving and
But this is the other thing. Well, when it comes to again, I'm not disrespecting anyone, it's to do with their belief systems. When people talk about angels and love and light and everything, no. It's not about love and light and everything. Angelic, let's call them angelic beings label wise for now. They can be loving or they can be the worst goddamn thing you've ever met. It's as simple as that.
There's a balance. There's a balance of both, right?
They don't like injustice.
Everybody's in love and light and angels and everything. No, that's not how it works. These entities, which is a word I don't actually like, they are fully on this side and fully on the other at the same time. They are powerful. They can be destructive. All I'm saying is that there is a 50-50 in relation as to whatever task they're undertaking or dealing with, but it's not all angels and love and light.
But they're not demons or bad.
They're not demons.
No.
And stuff like that.
All right. Well, as time ticks down here, I first of all I want to ask if any of the entity voices has any questions for Don that are going through your head that you want to ask. So if you do that now.
What age did you say that you met Becky?
It was about 12 years ago.
Oh, okay. So
and that was through
relatively recent.
Well, yes and no, but it's still unprecedented. This was for a place, the most haunted place I've ever been in, and it was residential, and it was a portal. In fact, are we going to manage to get another third show out of this one, Tony? What do you think?
It's possible. We do have a guest scheduled, so we'd have to.
I would like to show that, get the picture to you of the portal. I have a picture of a real portal forming in a kitchen, a real photograph with the lights on. It's really something. And basically, amazing. That's where I met Becky about 12 years ago.
Huh.
That's amazing. Anything else?
Do you ever, like when you're healing someone or something, have you ever like put a blood pressure cuff on yourself to kind of see what it does to you?
No, and this is where on the last show I said, you know what, if there's one single goddamn scientist, this is the entirety of this planet, who wants to take this a stage further, put a goddamn helmet on me and look at my brain, put probes on me, and just what's going on with my body when I'm doing this, because you know what, it is energy, therefore it is measurable. You know, in some kind of concept, it is measurable. We can never prove exactly what it is, but as long as we can prove there's something going on and its effectiveness and it works, then we prove something happening.
All right. Okay, I can probably play one more clip. I know you sent two. I don't know the length of them, and I dropped them into other ones. Do you recall the names? Which one do you want me to play first?
I can't see your thing for me, Tony. Give me a clue.
Let's see. You sent me. No, they were too big to load to there.
Okay.
Hold on. Give me 1 second.
Is this the Brookdale?
No, I played the Brookdale already.
No, there's 3 clips, another 3 for the Brookdale.
Oh, there's.
They're never going to like it.
Well, we played the Brookdale, the one where he was talking and then he booted out at the end. We played that one last time.
Okay.
Lorda said it was the Viagra file, and it got bigger after you uploaded it.
There's probably one there with Tim's dog. There's one there called Tim's dog.
That's funny.
No, I don't have anything labeled Tim's dog.
How about real ghost caught on camera?
Okay, read out what you've got there, Tony.
Well, there's like 14 of them here. That's the way. What happened that night? Clip 4, clip 7.
What happened that night? Let's do that, because that is when we went to, and I can explain it very, very briefly. That's probably a pretty good one. So we went. Is that okay, Tony?
Yeah. I have to share this one though, so let me get that set up because it's too big to load. But this will definitely eat up the time because this thing's almost 300 meg. So
okay, well we can save that.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. Let me see if I can get this to play.
While we're on here, and I've got a second, what I'm going to say is,
Is there any way that you can drag it?
It's big. StreamYard won't take it. No, it's not playing.
Okay.
Hold on 1 second. Let me try one more thing.
Ask Becky what's to play, Tony.
There you go.
You can either play it and I'll explain afterwards, or I can explain before. Which clip is it, Tony?
You said what happened that night, but my computer literally won't play it, and I don't know why.
Okay. Well, just hit on a clip and we'll talk about it afterwards. How does that sound? Does that help?
All right, let me see what's here, because all right, how about Real Ghost on Camera? What's that from?
Nah, don't bother with that one for now.
Okay. How about
Haunted
That's
Orphanage.
a Ghost?
No, don't bother with that one for now.
Haunted
Orphanage?
Yeah, the orphanage is interesting. Okay, so the thing is, quite often there is the physical and the non-physical. I'm just explaining to you very quickly. Pass that walkie-talkie over there for me. So sometimes I'll have I'll have a walkie-talkie and I'll just put it on because sometimes they communicate through that. Now, the interesting thing to me is this can activate and you will hear it clearly, and I will hear nothing at the time, which means it's activating in a non-physical sense over there. The camera picks up and I hear nothing at the time. This time I was at an orphanage doing an investigation with my old team from many, many years ago. And I was talking, my ex-partner came through, she says, can you come and see one of the teammates because she's not feeling very well. And I said, I'll be there in a minute. I'm just in a mortuary slab, laying on the slab in a freezer talking to the guys. And this guy went through the walkie-talkie, went, "That's right." I heard absolutely nothing at the time. It was only when I reviewed it, I saw that, and I get this an awful lot. We can show more examples of this in maybe a future show, Tony, but I get a lot through these.
All right, here's that clip.
This now derelict orphanage in its heights was home to 450 orphan children. During World War II, it was a military hospital. As any derelict building with such a varied past, there are tales of apparitions. Okay, this is the mortuary, and this is a fridge where to store the bodies. Now, there's been noise outside at the moment, but I think it would be a good idea for me to get inside of there on one of these. Trolleys, slab things, whatever you call them. Close the door and see if we get any recordings. Certainly, that's better. Okay. I'm going to climb inside there. I've got Jamie with me. Jamie, you can close the door.
Yeah, no problem.
And leave me in there for a couple of minutes. I'm going to see if I can get a recording. I'm just going to record in there now. I'll be back in. Push it. Okay, Jamie. As I lay in the place where I previously dedicated, it wasn't long before I was surrounded by voices. Okay, Jamie.
Yeah.
I've got a gentleman here. He just said it would be perfect.
It would appear it wasn't just me and Rachel using the walkies. The spirit replies to a comment I made saying, "That's right."
At the moment, I'm actually in the mortuary, laying inside the thing on the slab with some guys talking to me. Okay.
There is people in there talking to me. Spirit people. Oh, absolutely. One of them says, "You're perfect for this," or something. Okay, so that's some replies in the fridge. I think this could be the old chapel of rest here. So we've still got the cross on the wall, we've got the altar here, and picture of Jesus and things. So give this one a try. I encountered what sounded like a young girl in the chapel who proceeded to say, "Candles burn." Close masses now, Louis. Thank you for that. That was beautiful, wasn't it, Jerry?
What was that?
That's a lady's voice. Then, when the call came in about Alison, we had to abandon this session and make our way to her. That's right, George.
Hello. I'm just in the back.
Yeah, we see you.
Can you send yourself and John to where they filmed the dream sequence in Hollywood? Because I don't know where we are. Alison isn't very well.
I'll have to go back up in a minute and speak to John. Get hold of John and I'll send him up there. Is that where you are? The Hollywood dream sequence?
Yeah, we need you to both be quick.
Okay. I've got to go and talk with my team who seems to be in a bit of a problem, so I'm going to be back very, very shortly to continue to speak with you. So thank you for that. I'll be back very shortly.
Wow. That's great.
And do you know what? That wonderful young girl, candles burn. But this is the thing, I've never had any problem communicating with these guys. They're always willing and everything. But point being is, that's right. A kind of almost not robotic kind of strange sound, which we also had at the Brookdale Lodge, didn't we?
Yeah.
He said, "I'm trying to speak to you."
Mm-hmm.
So we was driving one time. We was coming back from the the cemetery
you and I.
in Sandwich. This was on. I didn't realize I'd left it on. It was in the bag in the car in the footwell, wasn't it? And all of a sudden, this voice came through. I'm sorry to have to tell you this. It was like loud and
it was like, tell us what?
What? So I said, she said, shall I pull over? Said, yeah, Paddy, pull over. So I said, tell me what? And all we got was typically, you know.
It's like, okay.
Hopefully a future show I can show more situations where these will come into play, particularly on the Arboretum, because that was absolutely mind blowing.
Wow. Well, we can definitely do that, because I know the immensity of what you have captured, have been involved with, is just so far behind a handful of hours. Right.
Yeah. But what I'm going to say is that young lady earlier, who I believe was about 18, that came through. I would like to work with you guys to see if we can track down that, find some information, verify that information.
Oh, that came to you from Colorado.
That came to you tonight, you're referring to?
The thing that happened tonight, which normally I would hide from the public, but the gloves are off. I don't care
Yeah, this is in the 70s, so.
So we'll do some research, see if we can sort that out. And do you know what? If need be, we will go to you or I will go to Colorado at some point in the future, see if we can actually get this cold case sorted, because this is a real thing. Okay, is that fair? Would you like to do that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. So, just real quickly, Don, before I have Chris give us a closing line, if people want to look up stuff that we didn't get to cover, see the different things that you've done, give yourself some shameless plugs, tell them where they can look up information on you, where they can see additional stuff you've done, and tell us what your plans are for the future.
Okay, plugs, get out of your chair.
Yes, sir.
The Supernatural Files on YouTube. Brilliant channel. You will like it lots. There's lots of stuff on there. Also, there's the website, which has not been updated for a good 18 or 2 years, but I will get around to it. Now I'm here in America. Now relocated to the States, obviously. www.americansupernatural.com. And also, guys, the Supernatural Files on Facebook. I think that's a pretty good one. Thank you, Tony.
Can I come back now?
Yeah, you can come back now.
Oh, poor Patty. Poor Patty.
And obviously, we can get a third one at some point. There is obviously still a lot of clips that we can play about the healing and this and that and everything else. So, yeah. I appreciate, as always, guys, your time. This is a great show.
Yeah, it is.
Well, I'm sure that we can.
I seldom do shows, to be honest.
I know. Well, it took me a year, I think, to get you to do this one.
Right.
You guys are great. Honestly, you really are great. So, yeah,
Thank you. But we appreciate you both being on, telling your story, showing what you go through and how this all happened.
That wasn't planned.
For anybody who's watching tonight and didn't get to see part one, go back and watch. And I even put out the day before interview with Steve Mera, who ran through all sorts of scenarios with both Don and Patty and had things happen. But I want to say sincerely from the bottom of my heart, thank you for both of you for taking the time to do these two shows. We greatly appreciate it.
I love you.
So if the team has anything else to say, I'll let Chris come up with a perfect closing line for.
Just remember, guys, everything paranormal revolves around energy, whether you're expelling it or whether you're receiving it or whether you're getting messages through it. Becky is a great example of that. Don's a great example of that. And remember, if you want to see in a blue spectrum of light while you're doing an investigation, you have to take a Viagra.
I just knew it. I didn't have to be psychic. That was great.
Can you give me a name? What's your name?